in the darkest corners of our planet, where sunlight can't reach and the pressure is enough to crush steel, something ancient stirs. It moves silently through a world we can barely imagine, where time feels frozen and predators have evolved in ways we can't begin to understand. It's something massive, something that may have been around long before humans walked the earth, and something that could still be watching us from the deep, hidden just beyond the edge of our knowledge. Today, we're diving into one of the ocean's greatest and most terrifying mysteries: the possibility that enormous sharks, far larger than anything we know today, still roam the depths of our oceans. These are not your average predators. These are the titans of the abyss, creatures that may rival the size of prehistoric monsters. And yet, we know almost nothing about them. Despite all our technology, we've only explored about 20% of the world's oceans. In fact, we know more about the surface of the Moon, and even parts of Mars, than we do about the deep sea on our own planet. And in this alien, pressurized world miles below the surface, strange shadows have been detected. Shadows that don't match any known animal. Shapes on sonar that are simply too big, too fast, too deliberate to ignore. We already know of sharks that can reach impressive sizes, like the Greenland shark, which can live for over 500 years, and the blunt-nosed six-gill shark, which can grow up to 20 feet long and lurk thousands of feet beneath the surface. But what else is down there? What might be moving in the deepest trenches, unseen by human eyes, untouched by modern science?
There have been sonar readings, odd, inconsistent, and yet eerily suggestive, that hint at creatures possibly reaching 30, even 40 feet in length. Are these misreadings, equipment errors, or could they be the modern-day descendants of long-extinct giants? Could some relic species have survived where we can't go, in the cold and crushing dark, evolving in complete isolation?
Food is scarce in the abyss, but life finds a way. In these extreme environments, predators have adapted to survive on whatever they can find. Dead whales sinking to the ocean floor, massive squid floating up from the depths, even other sharks. A giant deep-sea shark might remain motionless for days or weeks, conserving energy, waiting in absolute darkness, until something wanders too close. Then it strikes with overwhelming force, leaving little evidence behind except a few scattered bones, or the shredded remnants of its prey. Some deep-sea researchers believe these giants may be ambush predators, using their massive size and stealth to surprise prey in the pitch-black environment. In rare cases, marine biologists have discovered enormous bite marks on whale carcasses and unexplained damage to submersibles, suggesting that something powerful and toothy is down there. But if such sharks do exist, they've been careful to remain hidden. And that raises the next question. Could a human ever come into contact with one of these oceanic giants? The answer might be more unsettling than you think. In 2018, a deep-sea exploration near the Mariana Trench recorded strange disturbances around a remotely operated vehicle. The crew heard unusual acoustic patterns, almost like movement, surrounding the craft. Then suddenly, communication was lost. When the probe was eventually retrieved, it was heavily damaged, with what appeared to be massive crushing dents along its frame. No known predator should have been able to do that. Fishermen in the Pacific have told stories for decades of nets being torn apart by something too powerful, too large to be a whale. Submarine crews have spoken of eerie sonar readings, massive shapes that appear briefly, then vanish into the blackness. These stories are often dismissed, but what if they're true? Of course, no discussion about giant sharks would be complete without mentioning the most infamous of them all, Megalodon. This prehistoric monster was thought to grow over 60 feet long, with a bite force strong enough to crush a car. Officially, science tells us it went extinct millions of years ago. But not everyone is convinced. Some researchers, cryptozoologists, and even a few marine biologists have theorized that a small, isolated population of megalodons, or a similar undiscovered species, might have survived in the deepest parts of the ocean, perhaps in trenches like the Mariana or Tonga. These are places where human activity is almost non-existent, and where a giant predator could live undetected for centuries. The ocean is vast, cold, inhospitable, and full of secrets we have only begun to uncover. With more than 80% of the seafloor still unmapped and unseen, it's entirely possible that massive predators remain hidden in the deep, beyond our current reach, beyond our understanding. The deeper we explore, the more we realize how little we truly know. And perhaps that's exactly how these ancient creatures want it. They are the silent watchers of the deep, perfectly adapted to a world we may never conquer. So the next time you gaze out at the ocean, remember, beneath those waves lie miles and miles of darkness, uncharted territory, and maybe, just maybe, something ancient is looking back. Sleep tight, and don't think too hard about what's beneath you.